Welcome, everyone. My name is Relentless, owner and team lead for DeFi Raiders. Excited to be here today with everyone. Today, we get the pleasure of speaking with a guy who's been a monumental influence for me in my journey and someone who I give a lot of credit for opening a lot of doors for me. One of the brightest people I've met in the space, OXUNIFIED starting his own project called Perpetual Dawn. He's here to tell us all about it. Thanks for joining the show, brother. Excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so and this is your first AMA. You're doing it with me. That means a lot. I'm thankful for this relationship that we have overall. Like I said, you've provided a lot of opportunity for me, and I'm excited to be the first to be able to put your message out here. So, if you want to go ahead and give the audience a little background about how you got to this point in the journey and what led you to starting this project.
Yeah. Okay. So this kind of grew out of DeFi Raiders in a strange way. Initially, around the time that Relentless kind of, took over here, right around the time there had been that problem with the old staff, and I don't remember the people involved, I had been brought on and was helping to write AMA questions and was helping to do some things. And I just had this feeling inside that I wanted to do something more. And so I excused myself from the project without really having a firm understanding of what it was that I was trying to do. And since then, I have kind of followed the Holy Spirit, for lack of a better way to put it. And I have put together this very complex, very strange, and I believe very important project that is actually 5 projects in one. So Perpetual Dawn is sort of the umbrella over everything. And within Perpetual Dawn, there are 5 separate initiatives, which I call the 5 points of light. The first of those is the Church of the Great Magnet. The second is very closely related to the church. It is the Divine Order of the Great Magnet, or the Dogma DAO. There is also the True Believers NFT, which right now is your ticket to entry into the church. There is the Sunrise Library project. And then last but not least, there is the Royal Majestic Theater, which in the future will hopefully do something similar to what we're doing here tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dig into some of that. I mean, it's a really cool concept. I know the white paper is kind of just hints at a little bit because I know you're doing a ton in the background, and so you got a lot of stuff working. So let's start with the church. Tell me about the church, right? Church of the Great Magnet. You're aiming for it to be the first Web3 church, kind of the first Web3 based religion. So yeah, tell me more. What's the structure of the church, the faith, etc., all that stuff?
So with the church started almost as like a joke, and I ended up having like a really interesting experience that I'll be talking about probably once I start doing regular Sunday services a little bit. But I realized that by leveraging the power that is inherent to smart contracts and the blockchain, that you could create a church that would enforce morality and would stave off the corrupting influence of wealth in a way that was baked into the contracts. And so whereas, unfortunately, a lot of established churches have gotten to have a bad rap because they there's just a lot of there's a lot of questionable things involved with organized religion. Let's just put it that way. I realized that what you could do is that you could make the church a legal entity that would be, by the time all the paperwork is filed and everything, the church will be the first legal licensed 501c3 nonprofit tax-exempt church, but it will exist in an entirely decentralized way on the blockchain. And the way the Dogma DAO plays into that is the Dogma DAO is going to be established to manage all church assets as a trust. And so whereas you'll be able to donate directly to the church and you'll be able to receive a tax write-off for that, you'll be able to track exactly how your funds are used, and the funds will be managed by the DAO, which is going to be a novel governance mechanism. We're going to do a one-person, one-vote model of governance by integrating Sybil-resistant decentralized ID. And so what you'll have is this this entity, the church, that will be able to accept donations, and then you'll be able to track on the blockchain and see that at least 90%, possibly 100%, I'm still like playing with some options here, but at least 90% of those donations are being used. You can see directly what they're funding, both charitable and philanthropic initiatives. And the way that they get directed to those charities and the way they get directed to those initiatives will be by the members of the church voting on how they are used. And that won't be something that a whale can come in and take over, because no matter how long you've been there or how much ownership you have or anything like that, everyone will be absolutely equal as enforced by Sybil resistant decentralized ID. One human being will have one vote and decide how the funds are distributed.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, the conversations you and I have had about just a decentralized ID, I'm pumped to see kind of how you implement that there. I mean, you have so many ideas surrounding that, so I'm excited there. What kind of what kind of philanthropic type initiatives are you looking at?
So to get into that, I mean, I kind of first want to touch on the numbers. And so just to get an idea of like what we're talking about, in just the United States, charitable giving averages out to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 billion a day, a billion with a B. Now, of course, we don't expect to capture, even 0.1% of this revenue, but 0.1% of that money would be $40 million annually. And the reason that I think that is going to be attractive for the same reason that like meat space donations are attractive now is that businesses and corporations and rich people do charitable giving as a means of, one, I mean, genuinely giving back to the world that has given them so much. I don't want to cheapen it. And also in exchange for a tax deduction. And that'll be something that we'll be able to offer. But instead of having to do a bunch of transactions and send it through a centralized exchange and cash out to your bank and wait for it to clear, you'll be able to donate it directly on the blockchain. And I'm going to be reaching out to some secondary solutions. Things like Endowment is an exciting project that is allowing any meat space 501c3 nonprofit to accept any cryptocurrency as donation. There's also things like the Giving Block. And so my hope is that we'll attract donations, one, because we'll be an extremely fair, auditable way to see that a very large portion of your donation is being used for what it was intended for. And then secondly, just because as more and more of the world's money moves on chain, it's going to be seen as more of a hassle to take that money off chain when you don't have to. And so when it comes to the sorts of things we're looking to fund, obviously that would be left up to the DAO. The DAO will probably elect something along the lines of like maybe a board of directors, but at no point will anyone have any greater or lesser control. Everything will always be by an egalitarian quorum vote. But the thing that's really interesting about that is we could potentially, if it was voted for, do something like replace the Phantom ecosystem grants, because that would be a philanthropic initiative, and then allow the DAO to have the sort of oversight and to sort of handpick their projects and fund more of the sorts of projects that we want to see developed in the space. Make sure the money is being used wisely, and possibly, offer some sort of a mentorship and oversight program.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well thought out. Okay. All right. So, well, I mean, those are pretty big numbers. Yeah. I mean, even if you don't capture a tenth, yeah, I mean, that's a ton of initiatives that you could fund, which I think would be fantastic. Like, do you have anything that your charities or philanthropic initiatives that mean the most to you that you're thinking about with the church?
No, for me, like, there are, like, I'm like everyone, man. When I see those St. Jude's commercials, like, my heart goes out. And when I see the, like, sad dog with Sarah McLachlan playing, like, my heart goes out. But, my father was an upholsterer, And he tells this story about he went to this big mansion. He got a call to the big mansion on the lake. It's like big, beautiful lake house. This is when we still lived up north. And he went to see about, pick up the chair or whatever. And he got to talking to the guy. And my dad's like, well, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I'm on the board of UNICEF. And my dad was like, well, that was the last time I ever gave a dime to UNICEF. And so what you have in the charitable space now is that you have these charities that have essentially become corporations under the guise of being and what they're really doing is they're padding the pockets of a very few number of insiders and board members, and it's all a big incestuous money game. And so technology allows to happen natively is if you give $1 to UNICEF, I don't want to knock UNICEF in particular, I'm just using them as an example, but you don't know how much of that money, maybe 50 cents, maybe a quarter, actually goes to help someone in need. And with blockchain, since it's publicly auditable by anyone, you'll be able to see donations to help the thing that you thought you were funding. And we think that this is going to really revolutionize charitable giving. And so we'll probably, be vetting and working with established meat space companies like St. Jude's, like UNICEF possibly. But we'll also be looking for newly emerging philanthropic and charitable efforts that are doing direct good to people. There's no reason that the DAO, for example, couldn't have a fund, like a separate managed fund that went to help the victims of rug pulls, like what happened with Spooky Finance. Really, the sky is the limit as long as the community believes, and enough to reach a plurality of the vote, that the money is being spent in a way that is actually helping people. And it's much more difficult to trick everyone into voting, for something that's a scam when you have to deal with a one person, one vote, and when everybody can plainly see how that money is being.
Yeah, 100% agree. The transparency within that the blockchain provides for that, and for people really being able to see what their money goes to with donations is huge. You just look right. So me being in the military and seeing some of the Wounded Warrior Project, right? So people donate crazy amounts of money to this to help wounded warriors, and then you go and find out that the corporate board and the CEOs are actually spending millions of that on themselves to do their own little travel and pad their own wallets, and and a fraction of a percent of it is actually going towards helping wounded warriors, right? It's just someone capitalized on they pulled the heartstrings of people who cared about veterans,
Yep.
and capitalized on that and ran away with the money. So. And
now,
it
I
would be
will say,
great.
I'm going to start a real church, and I am not a real hellfire and brimstone sort of guy. But if there is a real sin, it is profiting off of human misery. And it is disgusting to me that these people are doing these things, that they are playing on the best parts of the human condition when people that genuinely want to help, that see someone in pain or in need and they want to help, and they're skimming off the top of that, it's evil.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think just knowing you the way that I know you, and how you operate, and I think you have such a great heart within this, and you're doing things the right way. I think it's going to be awesome. And in a way, what's super helpful for you is you're kind of cornering a market before it's even there. And so you'll really be able to, if you can corner that market in a way as a nonprofit and be able to, to take the lion's share of the type of money that people want to donate, you can do so much good there. And I think from where you started, when we started talking a little while back about some other things, to where you are now, I think this is really taking you to what you really aim to do. And I think it's going to be fantastic. So, all right. So covered the church. Do we want to talk a little bit more about the DAO? It's one person, one vote, or should we move on to talk about the NFTs, how that plays into the DAO?
Yeah, and so similar to the way that it's hard to talk about the church without talking about the DAO. It's hard to talk about any of it without talking about the NFTs and without talking about the Sunrise library. Mm-hmm. Because and even after. So the other kind of beauty of this 5-point system is that we're going to be reliant entirely on external information. And this is like some pretty good alpha. So what this project phase 2 is going to be, I'm working with a couple of developers. I have a meeting coming up this week for an advisor that's going to be advising on some of the legal stuff. We're building a team, and there's already code being worked on. We are writing a new standard that will allow anyone to self-publish and sell text-based NFTs on the blockchain. And so what essentially it is we're going to NFTize books. And if you look at the total addressable market for books versus art, this is going to be much larger than the entire NFT market currently.
Okay. All right. So okay. Let me. So are the NFTs that are people minting, are those going to be a text-based NFT that's governance as well, or is this specific to the publishing for the library?
This is specific to the publishing. So the way this is going to work is that I don't know if you know how NFTs work currently. I won't get into the technicals, but essentially what you will be able to do is, let's say that you wrote a book. You would be able to then publish that book as an NFT and sell it on our marketplace. And if I purchased your book from the marketplace, I could not then make a copy of it and send it to somebody else, which is a huge problem with the current ebook market. If you go on Amazon and you buy an ebook, there is nothing stopping you from making an infinite number of copies of that book and reselling it or distributing it for free or distributing it via Pirate Bay or anything like that. And so in order to make this work, I won't get into the technicals, but you will purchase the book as an NFT, and the NFT will be a key that unlocks an encrypted file. Once you purchase the book, you'll be able to then download it and view it on a secondary application on your phone or on your tablet or on your computer. We're also developing. And your NFT will be the key that unlocks the encryption and allows you to view. So from the anti-piracy standpoint, this is already extremely attractive. The other thing that this allows you to do for the first time in history is going to be to imagine if you went to a garage sale and you bought a book at a garage sale, and when you did, the author got a 5% royalty. This is the first time that's going to be possible. It's not possible with the current state of ebooks or printed books. And then the numbers on this. So there are currently somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 billion books sold annually, and the vast majority of these are monetized through Amazon's self-publishing module for the Kindle. They charge a 30% royalty. So if you are an author and you write a book and you self-publish it via Amazon, every time you sell a copy of your book, you have to give Amazon 30% of that sale. We have not finalized any numbers yet, but I will say that we will definitely be able to cut that royalty down substantially. And in addition to being able to keep more of your money from each sale, like I said, your book will not be able to be pirated, will not be able to be have any unauthorized distribution, and you will be able to earn a royalty from that book anytime it is resold for the rest of time until the sun burns up.
That's phenomenal.
And so from that module, and we're hoping to release this. I am so hesitant to say this, but they assure me that this is possible, my developers. We're hoping to release this before Christmas. 10% of any revenue that this generates is going to be donated to the church.
Hmm. Oh, wow. Okay. So, all right. So, all right. So 1 billion books sold. I mean, all right. So what's your goal
So
for the amount of books that you could realistically, what percentage of that market could you capture?
realistically, in the medium term, more than 100%. In the short term, I think that 10% is a very reasonable percentage of market share. So if we were to get, let's say that the average book sells for $5, and we have 10% of 1 billion, which is 100 million. So that's $500 million. Uh, and so then if we were to charge a 1% royalty, that's $5 million in revenue a year, 10% of which will be donated directly to the church.
Okay, so well, one, I think the book idea is phenomenal. One, because it's going to be super attractive to authors because what author wants to give away 30% and have their book pirated? I mean, just from a financial aspect, any author is going to find that attractive, especially with the security of an NFT and on the blockchain. And then second, if you capture, say you only capture 10% of that and of the market for even the medium term, I mean that right there, you don't even necessarily then, I mean that's still a huge chunk of change that you can donate to the church
Yes.
and be able to give to philanthropic um, of causes and
Well,
charities without even receiving donations.
and the reason I that I think in the long term will capture more than 100% of the market is I just want to just real quick add all of these numbers are speculative and none of this is set in stone and none of this is financial advice and everything is subject to change and do your own research and all that jazz because like this may, all those numbers may change. Everything is subject to change at this point.
Yeah,
Anyways,
of course.
the reason I say more than 100% in the long term is when you look at what NFTs did for art is they allowed an entirely new subset of artists that previously may have done art as a hobby, but that never even had the thought or the dream to try to monetize their art. And what art NFTs have done is they have taken one of the most stringently gatekept creative industries in the world, and they have opened up to anyone that thinks, hey, why the hell not? What do I have to lose? And so when you combine that sort of thinking and that sort of what do I have to lose with all of these benefits for existing authors that are monetizing their works, what you can potentially do is not only take 100% of the existing market, but you also open up the medium to an entirely new generation of creative professionals that would not have even tried other. To me, that's like a powerful thing. That's a thing that can change the world when you start impressing on people that never thought it was worth it to try, that maybe they can try. And maybe if they do, maybe they will succeed. And maybe maybe they'll pick up that pencil for the first time. Maybe they'll think that, maybe the next Dostoevsky is a guy working at a gas station that just is too overwhelmed by the thought of trying to have to deal with a publisher, writing a book, and oh my God. And maybe this will be the thing that is hey, fuck it, that guy can do it, I can do it. I love that stuff. I love that about the current state of NFTs. I think that they're incredible.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so, I mean, yeah, it opens a ton of doors for people like that. So then my other question then would be a follow on. Are you going to try to create the first NFT book marketplace as well?
Yes, so they will be part and parcel.
Okay.
because the
I
way
didn't know
that
if this
this
was
is
something
going
you're
to
going to try to
work.
sell on like OpenSea or something like that, or
No,
you're
so
going to try
the
to create your own
like
thing.
on the back end, on the on the back on the back end, you won't be able to use these NFTs on OpenSea or on any existing NFT marketplace.
Okay.
It just won't work. And so that's why we're having to write and design an entirely new standard. And so the way that this will likely end up working is that you will purchase the NFT from our marketplace, and then you'll have a second app on your phone similar to the Kindle app. And that app will be the reader that will allow you to then, it'll, verify the NFT with your wallet on the blockchain. And if you have it, it will unencrypt the book and you'll be able to view the book on your device. The other thing that we should be able to do with this is a lending library where you'll be able to check out like public domain books or books that authors want to make available for free in a library. You'll be able to check them out for a limited time. And basically the way that'll work is you'll receive a token that expires. And so let's say that there's a 3-day checkout period or a week or whatever. When you check it out, you'll receive a token in your wallet that'll be verified in the same way. But then after a week, that token will expire and you'll have to check it out again.
Okay. And so will it only be able to be rented out by the author, or could a purchaser rent their book out and then they get a percentage of the fees, and then the author also gets a percentage of those fees?
That's an excellent idea. And that is not something that I have thought of previously, but is something I will think about. Because I know that like on Kindle, like in the Amazon store, they do have a lending library functionality that works very similar to that. And so I'll have to just do a little more research about that, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a classic, purchaser utility right there. Okay, I bought this book, I read it. All right, well now I have the opportunity to make, you can even set it up where the author gets like a large percentage. But I mean, hey, I've read the book, I have this token. Well, now I can rent it out and make some residual income, and it just becomes like another
I would
utility. So
I would say that if you can do it in the Amazon self-publishing interface now, you're going to have a very similar functionality with our platform.
nice. Okay, I'm excited to see this. I remember you mentioning some stuff about text-based NFTs, and I obviously wasn't sure where exactly you were going to take that. I mean, you're you, so sometimes you don't know where you're going to take it until it happens. So it just it just kind of
Well,
it just
this
kind
all
of
started.
unwinds and gets there.
The way this all started was that in the age that we live in, I have become increasingly concerned about censorship, especially when it comes to classic literature and holy books and things of that sort. And so this kind of grew out of my desire to begin preserving these books on the blockchain, because that's the beauty of NFTs is once these books have been published as NFTs, it's decentralized, it's immutable, it's tamper-proof, it's censorship-resistant. There's not a website that the government can come and seize servers of. As long as the Ethereum virtual machine or any compatible chain that uses the Ethereum virtual machine exists, holy books and important books and any text that anyone wants to produce, any history, anything that is a human-readable text-based format will be preserved forever on the blockchain. No more Library of
Hell yeah.
Alexandria. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. And then, okay, just a couple more questions. One more question I have about the library. How many books? How many books are you trying to upload that have already been published prior to the launch?
So I'm probably going to end up doing. I've been thinking about this for a little while. There are some online libraries that I've been using to publish or using to populate the list in the library that's in the Discord server currently. And I'm going to be reaching out to the people that run those sites and trying to bring them on board as early adoption partners One that I'm looking at really strongly is holybooks.com, which is where I get a ton of great books from. And because they've already done the work, they've already reformatted these books. They've already like made sure that everything falls within fair use and within public domain. And they've already, just because of their own love of these books and their own desire to preserve these works, done a lot of the work. And so I'm hoping that they'll want to embrace this new medium, and they deserve the recognition for all of this thankless work they've done, because these books have changed my life. You know, these books are why I'm doing this. Like, they're why I wanted to start a church. They're why I believe what I believe, and they're why I am who I am.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. I think you're doing something that you love, that's a part of you, and I think that's fantastic. Um, okay, so I got one more question about the NFTs for the True Believers NFTs.
Oh yeah.
What are the benefits for the people who mint those?
I'm hesitant to like say anything because I don't want Gensler to pop out of the bushes and hit me with a shovel. But true believers are going to be a way that some of this revenue is shared. And it'll probably come down to a vote by the DAO. How exactly that is done, but there's a lot of ways that you could do it. One way that I've been thinking about is using the DAO's treasury to back something like an algorithmically pegged token, or even something like a C token, like C liquid driver. Because then what you would have is you'd have like extremely sticky liquidity in the treasury, and that would be the backing for a secondary token that you could then distribute. The funds that are in your treasury never need to be sold off or need to do anything like that. They can just compound perpetually over time, thus increasing the backing of your C token. And as long as your rate of emissions on that is less than the return on investment for the annual interest of your treasury holdings, you can create an infinite inflation model that's over collateralized and infinitely expandable. So that's kind of where I am leaning with that, but it might be something much simpler. It's going to come down to the legal and regulatory framework and what we can do and get away with, because I don't want to jeopardize all of the public benefits in order to, have a token that people just want to profit off of. I also don't want the DAO to be like overly gatekept. I want it to be a church. I want everyone in the world to join the church, and I want everyone in the world to like have a say, and I want to change the world. And so more information about the True Believers NFTs and how they play into it will be released once I have gotten a little more advice about the legal and regulatory arena. But they cost like $1.25 to mint. I mean, it maybe just, what do you got to lose? I don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, it's fair. Don't put too much out there. How many are there to mint?
Right now, there are 5,000, and they're actually a deflationary supply. So I can't tell you everything because there's got to be a few secrets, and it's got to be a little weird because I'm involved. But
Yeah,
every month on the full moon, all of the True Believers NFT holders will be able to participate in a secret ritual which will result in the supply of the Genesis collection being deflationary over time. Let's put it that way.
Okay, cool. Hey, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes out of it. I mean, you never cease
It's
to
gonna
amaze
be
me with the
really
end result.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
really weird. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to it so much because
Yeah. I
the
don't
next full
expect
moon,
anything different.
on the next full moon, which will be November 8th, there is not only a full moon, it is a blood moon, and it is also the last lunar eclipse for 3 years. And on November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern, a portal will open that will allow all of the true believers to enter the Temple of Arcane Ritual. And what happened there cannot be spoken of now or ever outside of the temple.
Man, this rabbit hole, I gotta. I'm it's I really I never know where our conversations are gonna go or how it's gonna. I mean, I've seen your previous two versions of what you were gonna do. You know what I mean? Your initial thoughts, and just all scrap it next, and it's just like, all right, well, it just keeps getting better. So it's
You got to keep doing it
I
until you get it right, man.
yeah, I love it though. I love the way that these things work. I love the way that anything you're involved with plays out. I'll be honest with you. So, all right, well, that's cool. I mean, I think,
I
yeah, I'm
love you,
excited to
man.
see.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
be
you for
paying.
supporting
I
me.
love you too, brother. Absolutely, man. I'm excited. I'm really thankful that you gave me the opportunity to be the first to talk to you about this. So, November 8th, and that's going to be a good day. That's a little bit of. I haven't announced it publicly yet, but I'll announce it here for those who are listening. I mean, that's when we're hosting Bite Masons with Mr. Bebus, with Mr. Justin Bebus for an
Oh,
AMA on that
wow.
day. So, yeah,
That's
so
great.
I'll have Bebus on here for the AMA, and then after that, the portal will open, and we'll see how
Yep.
crazy that gets. So,
Hey,
the 8th
man.
is shaping up to be a good
Election
day.
day is an arcane ritual in its own.
Yeah, I know. There's a whole lot going on. So, all right. Well, okay. So, all right. So, what I don't want to miss the opportunity to tell for you to pitch Royal Majestic as well. What your plans are with that? I mean, because you're talking about like a wide
Yes.
array of topics, a
So
wide array of people, like not a typical crypto AMA kind of thing. I mean, so I want to hear a little bit about that.
So at some point, I will probably just end up hosting a show in the Royal Majestic. And the show that I want to do is I want to do like one-on-one interviews with really smart people in the space talking about the sorts of big, crazy ideas that we've talked about tonight. Because we really are very fortunate to have access to these developers are literally some of the smartest people in the world. And many of them are doing this for reasons that are far, far beyond money. And they understand the technology, understand what is possible, and they understand the sort of future that we can build together by leveraging this technology. To talk to them about that, because I think that too often AMAs sort of just evolve into things about when pump and when tokenomics and I think that like what's happening in this space and what's going to continue few years as this technology takes over the world is the most interesting and the most exciting and the most wonderful thing that could possibly happen. And so I have been trying to find someone to host it because I am far too verbose. I would much prefer someone who is natively like a better listener than me. But when I have time, I will do it if I have to. But if there is anyone that hears this that is interested in possibly hosting a show like that or is interested in hosting another type of show, I am open to all sorts of ideas. I have talked to some guys about doing an NFT roundtable. I've talked to a guy about maybe doing like a conspiracy podcast. I just want to start talking about cool stuff. I just want to listen to people talk about stuff I want to listen to people talk about. And so if anybody's interested in doing something like that, I don't really know what I'm doing, so it's okay if you don't. I just want people that'll like show up and have a good attitude and work hard, and we'll figure it out together. And we'll get sponsors and we'll do the whole thing. It's all in the docs on the Gitbook.
Okay, first thing there for anyone listening or who hears this once we put this on YouTube. One, he's not lying. He doesn't know what he's going to do with it. So you have to be ready to accept that. All right? his plan's going to change, and your plan will have to change with it. So you better be flexible, but it will be fun. And then second, a little bit of alpha here.
I'm
Unified is trying to become
flexible
a
and I'm
better
easy to work
listener.
with.
He's trying to become a better listener. So that's huge because that if you for all of you who don't know him, he's accurate. He's not a great listener. So, but that's just the way his brain works,
Well,
and
I
it's
just
not a
like I
bad thing.
speak like a
Not a bad
waterfall.
thing. Yeah, it just comes out. So, all right. But hey, it's great stuff. I love talking to you. I always enjoy our conversations. So, all right. Well, I mean, I think I don't
Well,
know.
and one thing I will definitely be doing. Oh, oh, I was just going to say I will probably in 2 or 3 weeks. I will be doing regular Sunday services in the church. There are certain like things that have to be done, such as holding regular services in order for us to qualify for the license. And so I am a Universalist minister, and I will be doing like a regular, real church service.
Nice. Hey, real quick, everyone. The if you're still in here, the giveaway's up. Get in there and react. Get a chance. There's three of the. I mean, you got a 50% chance right now to get in there and get a True Believer NFT. Um, Sponsored by Unified himself. So, and yeah, I mean, he said it's only $1,
Yeah,
but
I'll
hey,
just,
get one, go buy some
I'll do
more, and then there's some things coming with them. So,
I'm just going to through more and I'll
hold on. Yeah, we're kind of
Hello?
lost there for a second. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'll just mint 3 more and I'll just send them to you. I'll send them all to you and do one.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, yeah, I mean, you guys can click that for the winners, but everyone in here will get one. So, and then I'll get your. You guys can all just well, outside of anyone who is. Let's see. Let me get out of the thing. Yeah, so 0xk Mac, Boppity, Shilbro. Well, Mix. I guess this will be your first NFT, brother. So. And then he doesn't have a wallet. I got to teach him how to set up a MetaMask. He just does our videos, but we got to get him there anyway so he can get paid in the future for some of this stuff. So yeah, but I'll get those to all you guys, and then do you want me to drop the Discord server invite in here?
Yeah, so once you have your NFT, you can verify in the server and join the church, and you'll hear me jabber about more weird stuff.
All right. Yeah, I'll drop that invite in there, and then I know Shilbro's in here. I don't think he clicked in there, but he'll get one. And he was gonna host this with me. He we got to get you on some talks with him, unified, so you guys can talk some of this, some of the things about this. I mean, you guys will have some great conversations. He was looking forward to this, but he had to get his kids, so he wasn't able to host. But I'm going to get him in there, and this is something I sent him the white paper that you have, and this is right up his alley. So he's very excited about this too. So all right, so I mean, we kind of covered everything that's out there right now that you're willing to put out there. Is there anything else you wanna say about the project?
Yeah, I don't know. Thanks everybody, and I know I got a little like excited there at the end. I am excited, and I know that this like
You should
I
be.
I like I worry that I sound like a crazy person when I talk about this stuff, but I don't know. It's born out of like a good place, and I hope that comes through, and I hope like people can tell that I'm like genuine, and I think we're gonna do something amazing.
Well, I think an idea like this can only really come from a genuine place. I'll be honest with you. So, um, for you to try to create something like this and to have a malicious intent with this level of what you're doing, I could totally see someone creating an NFT, a text NFT book, with like some secret malicious code in there to try to rip people off. I mean, but you're with what you're doing, and yeah, it's obvious that this comes from a genuine place. So, and I'm pumped for you. I know how excited you are about it, and I'm excited to see it.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Well, let's see. There was one question in here. I want to make sure that I ask Bob. Okay. It might have been answered earlier, but he asked, are these free source books or will authors sign up to this? He was a little bit late. So authors will obviously have to sign up for this, right?
Well, it won't necessarily be like a
Or is
sign
it?
up. It'll be just like minting an NFT now, like an art NFT. And so you'll probably have to pay a small fee to generate a contract. And then the way it'll work is likely that the NFT of the book will be minted by the user at the time of purchase.
All right, everyone. This has been amazing. We'll be uploading this talk to YouTube if anybody wants to hear it again, or if you're hearing it on YouTube right now for the first time, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Once again, I'm Relentless from DeFi Raiders, and this has been an amazing opportunity. And we'll see you next time.